The Manuscript of Survival, Part 341. August 13, 2013. You have come a long way, dear ones, but as yet, many of you fail to see any results from all of this hard work. Or rather, you will perceive the results as more than a little heavy to bear, as much of what you have experienced so far will be felt as intense rounds of physical discomfort. Be that as it may, we are happy to report that you will start to see a more positive outcome from all of this very soon. Yes, that dreaded word again, but please bear with us, as we are indeed about to bring you some much-awaited good news. We think you will all heave a small sigh of relief, tinged with not a little skepticism, as the word soon has been flaunted many a time from this same source. But we do assure you all that this time, we refer to soon in your context of the word, and not in ours, which will be perceived as a slightly more malleable concept than yours. And what are this good news, we hear you ask? Well, as we have told you earlier, a sighting of a so-called unidentified flying object on the White House lawn or anything similar is perhaps not what you should expect, nor anything else that resembles a scene from one of those alien movies you all seem to be so fond of. Rather, it will be a more subtle feeling of well-being and vigor, a feeling of breathing much freer and of being able to do things, not just exist in a sort of vacuum that so many of you are feeling like at the moment. In other words, expect this feeling of being squeezed and pummeled in all sorts of ways to start to fade away, and a new state of feeling much freer to start to surface. And when we use the word freer, we do mean that in every connotation of the word, as so much of what used to be of hindrance not only to you, but to all of humanity, is in the process of being removed once and for all. For there have been so many forces who have inhibited the development of mankind, and much of this can be described to outside forces that have managed to inveigle themselves onto this planet and cast a spell of fear and greed that has resulted in a massive mismanagement of all of your resources, both what you have all been born with, but also what you see around you in your surroundings. We will not go any deeper into this. Let us simply say that this is a subject many of you have a far-reaching experience of already, and as such, it will come as a relief when you will all start to feel that all of this old garbage, to use a very blunt description, will be carried out your door once and for all. As always, we do not give any details on all that is going on behind the scenes, as it were. We will just tell you that all is indeed going according to plan, and you will be well protected throughout. For remember, as these old and grasping fingers are being pried loose from the chokehold they have had on humanity for such a long time, they will desperately try to find another place in order to prolong their stay a little bit longer. And so, a period of chaos might ensue that for some may be perceived as a little bit dramatic. Please understand that we do not say this in order to push you all into fear, only to let you know that this process may involve a little bit of fireworks here and there, if we may use such a word. For the light is indeed firmly at the helm now, and there is no way these old masters of yours will be allowed to run the show ever again. But for some of them, they will not be able to resist the urge to make a final display of themselves by trying to stir up foment in some way. Again, this is not intended to scare you, just to remind you that there are still a lot of your fellow men that are still under the influence of this old pervasive feeling of fear that has kept so many of them trapped forever, it seems, and to them, a lot of what will be going down now might be perceived as ominous indeed. To them, it will be a sign of something negative, but to an enlightened mind, it will be a sure sign that the negativity is finally losing its grip altogether. So again we say, make sure to stay focused on the light, and know that there is a lot of interest around in trying to make you fall for the same old tune of fear and powerlessness, but let us just say that the old tune has lost its charm to a great number of people. And for every soul who has decided to step back into the light, this old tune of fear and chaos will fall on deaf ears, and they will instead hear the song of freedom starting to blast through the old and dense fog of fear. And so too will you, as the sun is indeed ready to break through the clouds once more and fill you up with the light that may have felt absent for a very long time now. Remember, no cloud, no matter how impenetrable, dark and foreboding it seems, can manage to block out the sun's rays, And this time, the strength of these rays will make even the stubbornest of clouds dissipate once and for all. The Constant Companions. Channeled by Asia North. asianorth.wordpress.com